Hello everyone, welcome back to the Casual City Builder. In today's video, we're going to be showcasing the small hospital. Okay, so this is the small hospital, and one of the main reasons why I kind of wanted to call it the small hospital is technically there are 3 hospitals in this city. One that's near the start of New View City, and then there's one that's midway through the city, and then there's one that's kind of near the end of the city, and they're kind of like, small, medium, and large. And so I thought it'd be kind of funny to just name the building the small hospital. So then eventually I could make a video that would be the medium-sized hospital and then the big hospital. But for now, we'll just be focusing on the small hospital at the beginning of the city. And eventually one day we'll probably get there, but not right now. So with that, let's just continue looking on the outside of the building here. And then we'll go on the inside and check out what that has to offer. So up here we kind of have, a helipad, some air conditioning units and stuff, and then an area to get up to where the helipad is. Obviously lots of windows and stuff for some of the rooms, some of the hallways, just to add in some more natural light. Nothing, too crazy. I built this when I was a kid, so there's not a whole lot going down here. And honestly, it's, just kind of the basics of a hospital. I literally did almost no research. Just literally going off memory what I remembered a hospital looking like and being like. So it doesn't flow very well inside in terms of what an actual hospital looks like, but I don't know. I got close enough for my kid's self. So with that, let's take a look on the inside. All right, so coming right through here, this is what the main lobby area looks like. This is where you'd sign in as a visitor, and then, anything else. And you just kind of walk through the right over there, and that will take you to the emergency area / stairwell to get to the second floor. So walking through right here takes us to the emergency center. We've got the beds over here, a section that takes us up to the second floor. And then over here we have a few more beds in here. There's about 2. And if we go over here, we have the section where the ambulances would be. So if we go out here, we can see that the ambulances would come out here, and then the patients would come in through here, and then, they just get kind of like put over here or in this room. And in some cases, they'd go up to the second floor if there's just too many spots that have been taken up here. So speaking of the second floor, let's actually go check that out. These are the stairs that will take us up to the second floor, which is right here. And this upper section here is kind of like an extension of the emergency room on the first floor, but it houses the OR over here, the multiple operating rooms. And then there's kind of a section at the very end that's kind of like a waiting area to go into the OR for patients that are like, long-term patients that stay in the hospital as well. So, this is just kind of what the rest of the room looks like here. You've got the beds here for the emergency section, and then the long-term patient section. This is the waiting area for them. And then this is where the OR would be, all the multiple operating rooms. There's one with a light on, and that would kind of signify rooms that are being used. And then the rest of them are not being used. And this is kind of what they look like inside. So you've got the light here that you can turn on and off. This would be the bed for the operating room. And then there's like a storage for like, tools or medication or whatever. And then there's like a little ledge to store things here, like a little desk or something. More storage in here. And then another little area to store things or to put things on top of. But yeah, there's some natural light coming in through here. Most operating rooms don't really have this, but I just thought that some natural light would be kind of nice in here. Obviously, these would probably be blacked out if there was an actual operation going on. But that's what the operating rooms look like. Most of the operating rooms here look pretty much very similar, aside from this one over here, which is just slightly bigger than the average operating room in this building. And, it's a little bit bigger. You got some stuff here, a little bit of a bigger desk area, bigger storage section. But other than that, there's not much else that's changed in here. So now let's move on to the third floor, where the kind of long-term care would be for most of the long-term patients that would stay in the hospital. So let's go check that out. So this is what the third floor long-term care center looks like. We have our nurses' quarters right here. Some natural light coming in through over here. And all the way down here we have where the patient rooms would be. So there's some glass on the outside where you can look in without walking in. There's a door here that lets you get inside to the main room. There's about, just one bed in here with some storage and some natural light coming in. It's not a super big room, but it's a fairly decent patient room. And then if we go down all the way over here, most of the rooms look very similar, aside from the one at the very end, which is kind of a dual bed area. So 2 patients can be put in here if needs be. And that's kind of it for this section up here. So let's go to the 4th section and show you what's up there. So this is what the 4th floor long-term care center looks like. It's very similar to where we just were on the 3rd floor. There's just a little bit more natural light coming in through up here, and the nurses' quarters is basically the same. All the rooms are also pretty much the same with the windows that you can see through without opening the door. But other than that, that's kind of it for this 4th floor here. But the 4th floor does allow you to get up to the rooftop section. And the rooftop section right here has the helipad, some air conditioning units, and that's kind of it for the rooftop section. So with that, we're going to head our way back down to the main entrance area, and we'll close off the video. Alright, so that concludes the tour of the small hospital in New View City. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and enjoyed the tour. Stay tuned for more, like, comment, subscribe, all that crazy stuff. I've got lots of other buildings that I want to show off, so there's going to be a lot more content that's coming down the pipeline. And with that, thank you for watching, and have a nice day.